everyone, welcome to Podcasting While Black. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk during this episode about Kamala Harris running for president, and government shutdown, the status of that going on right now, and Governor Ralph Northam and his controversy going on.
Fine people on both sides.
An Ohio grand jury today declined to indict two white Cleveland police officers in the shooting death of 12-year-old Tamir Rice.
And Governor Scott, the last thing we need to do is to monkey this up.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
So, which one you want to start with? There's a lot going on in the news right now.
I mean, let's talk about Ralph Northam, who decides he wants to put shoe polish on his face in college and then gets racist amnesia. You know, he doesn't remember being racist all of a sudden. It was him, now it ain't him. I don't know how that worked.
Actually, we don't know who it was in the we don't know if he was the one with the black face or if he was the one in the KKK white hood.
I'm guessing because people used to call him, what was it?
Coon Man.
Coon Man in college. So let me just give y'all a little background so what's going on, just in case you don't know. So we have a guy, governor, Ralph Northam. So in college, I don't know what the hell college he went to and shit, but apparently there's a picture in a yearbook that's got him in black. Well, again, they don't know which one, quote unquote, which one it was. It was rather him in the blackface or him in the Ku Klux Klan outfit. So then, people, I can't make this up. So this is in his yearbook. I need you to understand something. It's in his college yearbook, right? So,
it's medical school.
Oh, it's even worse.
Yes, because he's a pediatric neurosurgeon and he was an army doctor. So he graduated it from this medical school in 1984. And this is the yearbook that the picture popped up in.
Wow. So so then somebody got him, like, boom, they hit him up. Hey, yo, we see this yearbook picture. What's going on? So he goes, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was in a different place then.
Yeah, that was Friday.
Yeah, yada, yada, yada. I love black people. They're my friends. Then the next day, it's like,
12 hours later.
Yeah, 12 hours later. Then this cat's like, hey, that wasn't me. Now, there was one time where I did put a little bit of polish on my face to be Michael Jackson.
Yes.
And I learned how to do the moonwalk, and I won the competition. I don't give a fuck about none of that. How the hell this one day you talking about you're sorry that you did what you did, and then the next day you get brainwashed like you don't remember that you were racist? How does that happen?
Only in America, I guess. That's white privilege in a way. I don't know.
I guess so, because Obama couldn't have did that.
One day you admit to it and say, I've changed my ways. And then the next day you're like, wait a minute. I don't think they can prove that I'm in the picture. Let me recant.
Yeah. One of his white friends must have called him like, yo, you bugging, P. They can't tell it's you.
They can't.
Deny. You got to deny that.
And he must have knew that, okay, there might be some pictures that pop up of me being Michael Jackson. So let me put that out there. Like, yeah, I did put a little makeup on my face to make myself darker for Michael. There was even, during the press conference, a reporter said, hey, can you do the moonwalk? And I think he was about to do it, but his wife was like, no. That would be a little inappropriate right now. Can't make this up, people. So anyway, when it comes to his resignation, he's a Democrat. So the Democrats are asking for him to resign. Everyone thinks he should resign. And he's like, no. After sleeping on it, it wasn't me. And I'm going to stay in my position. You know, nothing more to give to that, Glenn?
No, here goes my thoughts. on this whole situation. You know, I don't know what's going on with people and feeling like, racism is okay and that, every now, it's okay for me to wear a MAGA hat and I can put on blackface and there's no repercussions. I just look about how they can give these people a pass. But Obama, listen, they called him, they questioned his American citizenship. I mean, they were trying everything in their power to get after this guy. And then you got something as blatant as a dude put shoe polish on his skin and then tries to
Or
protect
wore the white hood.
or the one,
Pick your
'cause,
poison.
because we don't know which one it was,
I
Mister.
mean,
Yeah,
either one
so
of them is pretty bad.
so Ralph, if you're listening, Mister Coon Man, I would
Wow.
ask you to give that up, and definitely you need to quit your job because you're a racist piece of shit. Okay, we should move on.
All right. Well, we'll give a little light to the government shutdown right now because we're not out of the woods completely with that.
Yeah, who wants a wall?
I
Do you
know.
want a wall?
I know.
I mean, do you want a wall? Is that what you want now?
The wall's
A wall?
not going to stop anything. Every time I think of a wall, I think of the Berlin Wall. When we were kids, when it was torn down, remember that? There was like a big celebration.
Yeah,
and
I remember.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what he's trying to put here? There's
No,
a wall like that? A symbolic wall?
Like you know what? It would make a difference if that's how they were getting in. Like if they were getting in, jumping over the wall, or they're cutting through spaces in the wall. These cats are digging underneath the wall and coming up through towns.
Or getting on a plane.
Most of the people, yes, most of the people who come into this country illegally fly. Now maybe his wall is gonna go all the way up and then stop the
No,
planes.
It's not.
Nope. Maybe.
He's already said it's not going to even go from sea to sea. It's just a symbolic racist overtones because it's only for people that are predominantly black and brown that come on that side of the U.S. I mean, what about a border between us and Canada?
Nah, they don't want to stop the white people coming in. They like them.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's a lot of different places people come from to get here, but he's dead set on that one. Just to give a little update on what's going on is so we had the longest shutdown in history that just ended, and that was about 34 days. And he had to concede to Nancy Pelosi when it came to basically he opened the government without getting any money for his wall. He wants $5.7 billion to fund his border wall, and he shut down the government demanding it. And Nancy Pelosi held her guns and refused to give it to him, so the public pressure got so bad and his rating went in the toilet that he finally signed it without getting any money, but only for 3 weeks. So the next deadline is February 15th, and he's threatening right now, if I don't get my money, I'm going to claim a national emergency.
So here goes the thing. He knows that if he doesn't build this wall, that people in his base are going to look at him like you didn't do anything that you promised that you were going to do. He's more concerned about building this vanity project of, hey, look what I did. I said I was going to build the wall, and I'm going to build this wall. But everybody knows that this wall is not going to do anything. And what's even crazier is that Nancy Pelosi the Democrats were going to give him, what was it, like $1 billion for border security. They were going to give him like drones or something like that, which makes a lot more sense.
Personnel at the border, technologies.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes more sense. Now, nobody's going to make the argument that you shouldn't have border security. I mean, it's not even a logical thing. You want to have your borders secure. However, you want to do things that make sense. Building a wall does not make sense. It's not going to change anything. It's just a waste of money. And at the end of the day, what they really need to do is have people wouldn't sneak into this country if you would give them the ability to come over here legally without having to sneak over. This country was supposed to be built off of immigrants, and you got the Statue
Yep.
of Liberty saying like, hey, bring me your poor, bring me your this, bring me your that. But if you black or brown, you can get the fuck out. Like, it doesn't make sense. Immigration in this country is a joke. So you want to fix border security, you want to stop people from sneaking into the country, give them a legal way of being able to come here, because these Mexicans are just coming here just because they're looking for work.
Yeah, that's it. It's not lazy people coming over here.
They're not
It's
rapists.
the same song and dance story for every American immigrant that came over here, except for black people. We didn't ask to come over here. But when it comes to every other immigrant, no, they didn't come here to be lazy. They came here for a better life, to provide for their families, and that's what these people want that are coming through the Mexican border. Now, when it comes to the status of February 15th, with the threat of this national emergency he's going to have, Mitch McConnell had if anyone doesn't know who that is, that's the Senate Majority Leader.
Turkey neck.
Yeah, AKA Turkey Neck.
Turkey neck.
I forgot. Yes, Mitch McConnell. He's from Kentucky. He's a Republican. But anyway, he had a meeting with Trump, and he was like, yo, the Republicans ain't really going to back you up if you go for this national emergency. So I'm just giving you the heads up. But he's still being stubborn, and he spoke to reporters shortly after that meeting saying, it looks like that way. Stay tuned for the State of the Union on Tuesday, and I'll pretty much let you know what I'm feeling, but I want my wall.
Y'all voted for this asshole. I didn't vote for him.
The majority did not vote for him.
Yo, it is just crazy. Like, this dude dumb as shit. Like,
I know.
He went to the border, right? And he was talking to the people at the border to control the border, do the policing.
Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol showed him how the drugs come in, and they showed him the fucking tunnels. They said, look, Mr. President, here goes the wall, and here goes the tunnel that they're coming into. They're not getting. And he just, like, nodded, and then came out like, we need a wall. Like,
Well, I mean, it goes back to your statement earlier it's about keeping a promise to his base. And he, unfortunately, has not really done anything aside from giving tax cuts to the rich. There's nothing that he's given to his common man. Like his base is made up of the working class, middle America, right? People who felt like they were slighted. So the tax cuts, really, they not feeling that, but so now he has to give something that's tangible for them to say, yay, my guy won. And it's this wall. Mm-hmm. The only thing is, he said that Mexico would pay for it.
Yeah. Yo, he said, Mexican president, like, I ain't paying for no fucking wall. I was like, yes. I was like, yes. Yes, get him.
That's the only part of the promise that he's neglecting. Like, the whole time, he said Mexico will pay for it. Now You're holding us hostage as American taxpayers to pay for it.
Yep. Yeah, and it's crazy, too, because, you know what? His base is just easily tricked. They're so uneducated. Because they sit back and they worry about the pettiest of shit instead of worrying about the things that affects their day to day. Like, I found it to be funny when they was like, yeah, get rid of that Obamacare. I don't want that shit. I got the Affordable Care Act to take care of me.
It's the same thing.
It's like, yeah, you dumbass, okay? Then they like, wait a minute, I can't. What you mean I can't get my penicillin? Like, yo, it's like, you dumbasses. You cut back the thing that was helping you stay alive, jackasses.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate, and I'm probably gonna sound like Meghan McCain like this, but she always talks about on The View when the other people on The View talk about his fans or his base, like you just said, like they're uneducated. Mm-hmm. She says that turns off a lot of people, and that you're calling them stupid is you're being prejudiced against them, because they didn't really, they're not that they're not intelligent, it's the fact that they
what you say?
It's the fact that they got tired of the status quo politician promising a bunch of goods, not delivering, and they just wanted to blow up the system. They wanted to throw a mine or grenade into the establishment, and they were like, "Yo, here go to this billionaire. Maybe he'll be able to go in there and shake things up in there."
They voted for him because he hates brown people. And that's just
That's all you have to say about
let's
that.
call a spade a spade. All that other bullshit that he was talking about, they said you're building a wall to keep out brown people. I'm for it. Stop and frisk. What? You gonna stop the darkies? Yes, I'm for it. Make America great again when black people knew their place? Awesome. I'm all about it. And like I say, it's better than that Kenyan. His base is stupid. I don't agree. They're dumb. Because anybody who tries to vote for somebody who says, and I quote, "I just grab them by the pussy," you're going to get what you get at this point.
Glenn, we have to be empathetic.
Do we? We have to be empathetic? Do we?
You have to see both sides.
I do see both sides. I see one side who is like, "Oh my God, we're about to fucking die," and then I see the other side was like, "Hell yeah, white again. Oh, it's gonna be great in the world."
You think it is a dog whistle? Make America great again is a dog whistle.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about the origins of that right quick. The Ku Klux Klan started that. That was their slogan back in the day. Make America great again. And then Reagan used that dog whistle in his campaign, and now Trump is using it as his. But you really think about it, when was America really
I was
great?
just thinking that. Like, what time period do we want to go back to?
Because I know one thing. If I had a time machine, my black ass wouldn't go back to the 1700s.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even want to go back to 1968.
Shit, I'm thinking the 80s was a little fucking shaky.
I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, like there's not a good time for me.
Listen, I think in all honesty, I think the best time period for black people, and it's crazy to say this with all the shit that's going on right now with us, was probably when Obama was in office. That was probably about as good as it got, because now you got freaking
We're still living off the goodwill of Obama when it comes to the job market and things like that. We're still reaping the benefits of his work, but I think it's dying now.
Oh yeah, listen. You know what's funny? They keep talking about how they call Republicans the conservatives, and hey, we're going to come in there and we want small government. We want this, we want that. But every time they come in there, they fuck up the economy. There hasn't been a Republican president who has not fucked up the economy. Reaganomics fucked up the economy. George Bush fucked up the economy. Bill Clinton came in, we had a surplus. Got George Son in, fucked up the economy. Got Obama, started getting us out. People started getting hired again. People was living better than what they were living before. Trump comes in, fucks up the economy. It's like, I don't even understand the logic of why people even vote for Republican. Because, and don't get it wrong, I'm not saying the Democrats don't got their bullshit too, because they got their bullshit too. However, if I had to choose between being broke or having some money in my pocket, I'd choose the dude who doesn't fuck up the economy. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, the Democrat definitely, they have some issues too, but when it comes to this, you know what it is? Why people vote for a Republican? I think it's because the American dream, that everybody has the hope that they will be in the 1%, and once you get to the 1%, you'll be able to reap the rewards of the tax cuts and all that come with it, and you can actually donate to your candidate's campaign and pull the strings of what you want them to do for you when you have money. So maybe that's what it is. Everybody's voting for the American dream, that one day they'll be able to be on the other end.
I think it's because I'm just being honest. At the end of the day, rich people bought the party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And they don't like minorities.
Right.
And they try to do everything to keep the status quo alive, which is white privilege.
How do you explain regular middle class people voting Republican.
because they listen. They align with something.
Yeah.
The rich people, they want the tax breaks. They want whatever. The middle class ones, they don't want the Mexicans here because quote in their words, they're taking their jobs. They don't want, they want to keep the blacks in line. I truly believe that the Republican Party, it's I can't even say at this point because I've always felt like they were that way anyway. They are all about keeping up with the status quo because they're not for the common man. They're not for the middle class because every time they come in, they are messing up the economy for the middle class. It just doesn't make sense.
I know. So we are perpetually voting against our own self-interest.
I ain't voting them. Not us. Don't say us. Them. Them there. Them
over
there
there.
voting for their own
over
shit.
there.
I ain't doing it. I ain't voting for
All
them.
right. Well, then there's a good segue for who's not running for president going on right now.
I know, right?
We got everybody. It's only been a week, and I think 3 people in 1 week have announced their candidacy for president.
Who you liking right now?
Nobody.
What do you think about Kamala Harris?
Is it Kamala or Kamala?
I think it's Kamala.
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 You
I
know
think
what?
It's Kamala. This is called a Cammy.
I was a fan of her until she's mentioned president. When she said I'm running for president, I had to look into her a little bit because with all the Senate hearings that been going on, she was getting with them.
Yeah,
She was. I was like, who's this chick? She, getting a little bass in her voice and telling them, and you know how when a black woman tell you off, like that's how she was.
Hell yeah, I was like, she sound like my grandmama.
I know.
Shit, she done pissed off Big Mammy. I'm like, you pissed
I
Big
was
Mammy
like,
off.
yo, ooh, you in trouble.
I was
What
like,
was the most recent Supreme Court justice just got what's his name?
Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Kavanaugh. I was like, ooh, she got you. You in trouble. Like the way she would get with you. I was like,
soon as she got the microphone, I was like, oh shit. She about to lock ass with somebody up in here.
yo, I was like, yo, so for the last maybe she's been getting some media attention like that for about a year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I like her. But now that she mentioned I'm running for president, I had to go look her up and see what is she really about. So Kamala Harris is a senator right now, and she's from San Francisco. Well, actually Oakland. But she was a district attorney and state attorney and so on for the state of California before she became a senator. And so a lot of her record, it doesn't make me a fan of her anymore. And just to give you, it's like back and forth, her track record in the state of California. Basically, let's see here. She created a job training program for nonviolent first-time offenders. It's called Back on Track. That's a good thing. That was pretty good. So that if you had a nonviolent offense, you could work or get substance abuse treatment, also get a housing and childcare. Okay? Now, when it comes to other things, she wasn't too... Like the death penalty, she championed for the death penalty. She was not against it. She declined certain things when it came to reducing certain felonies to misdemeanors. She was opposed to that. She also, mandated implicit bias training and was awarded for her work in correcting a backlog in the testing of rape kits. It's like she's all over the place.
And it's sad because
It is.
this is what I'm afraid of. Black people sometimes we have a tendency we like to just to vote for black people just because they're black people, and it seems like the Democrats are putting all their money behind her because she fits all the buckets. She's a woman, she's a black woman, and I would hate for them to. My fear is that she's fronting like she is she's a straight liberal, but she's more like in the middle of the road. I'm scared of the fact that we need prison reform in this country, and she isn't really seen to be for prison reform. I mean, she had the opportunity as a black person, knowing that black people have issues with the police, that there is bias within the way the police black communities, and you were in a position where you could have done something. You could have made sure that these police officers were held accountable, and you didn't. You could have made sure that they wore the body cameras, and they didn't. But now you want to sit on the campaign trail and sit there and be like, okay, well, I'm for prison reform, I'm for this, and I'm for that, but
your record doesn't show it.
But your record doesn't show it. So how can I believe that you just now feeding me a bunch of soup, and then at the end of the day, when you get elected, then you go off to do other shit and don't handle what needs to be handled.
In 2015, she opposed a bill requiring her office to investigate shootings involving officers, and she refused to support statewide standards regulating the use of body-worn cameras by police officers.
Listen, and the crazy thing is, which I don't even understand that, like you're from Oakland.
I know.
Like how can you be from Oakland, where cops beat black folks up like it's a sport? If there was like an Oscar award for racial discrimination by the police, California would probably win the Oscar every year. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense to me, like how you can sit here and pretend like, you're this upstanding liberal fighting for the people.
You won't even let your office investigate the shootings.
Like, oh, come on. Like, so here goes my opinion about her. Her record's funky. It's real funky. So she has to really show me something, and she needs to explain herself. As far as I'm concerned, you need to make me feel comfortable, because I put it like this. Again, when she got into the race, I was extremely excited, because I seen the little things that I seen for her. I think that that's the type of president that we need. But I don't need a president whose record is this shaky, and you're not down for us. I need somebody who's going to go into this office and be down for us. Because after seeing what Trump is doing, I mean, you got, what's that dude from Empire? Smollett, whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, Josie Smollett.
Or whatever his name is. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, brother. But, you got people in MAGA hats running around and pouring bleach and calling people niggas and homophobic slurs because our president says it's okay to do so. So I don't need another person to get in there who's in this White House that's not looking out for us. And as black people, we really need to make sure that before we go to that ballot box this time, we need to make sure that that whoever the president is going to be, that they have an agenda to start fixing what's going on right now, because it's way out of control. Something's got to be different, because we can't take too much more of what's going on.
Now, when it comes to more, I don't think I went into too much, and I want to just share more backstory on her. In 2010, when she was district attorney, there was a police laboratory technician who had been accused of intentionally sabotaging her work and stealing drugs from the lab. Okay, so that's not good. So there was a memo that surfaced that showed that a lot of deputies that worked under Kamala Harris knew about the technician, and also knew that certain convictions were of a result of this technician messing with some evidence. But she did not want to go back and retry or look into those cases again. Like, I don't understand. Like, after it was made aware. Now, we're talking about after she was not in that position anymore. Kamala Harris moved on. I think she became state attorney. But there was a judge that dismissed 600 cases that were handled by that technician. But Kamala Harris did not want to revisit those after she learned about that.
Yeah, again, shit's shaky. It's shaky.
It is. Like, I don't understand. 1 minute you're this Back on Track program that you created for nonviolent first time offenders. You also wanted to have this bias training for our police officers, and you. But then on the other hand, you don't want them to wear body cams, and then also you don't want to go back once you learn that there's a dirty lab tech. You don't want to revisit cases.
Yeah, again, she's shaky to me.
It's sad though.
It's sad, and the sad thing is though, it's like I would love for the first woman president to be a black woman. I mean, that would just be like, the icing on the cake right there. I just don't know if she's the right one.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I hate to say that. Now I am, being from being a Jersey boy myself, I'm looking at Cory Booker. He's I mean, I like to see what his policies are, because like I said, I mean, I know him. I seen him. Being from Jersey, he every time he does something, he's on the news. Like, you can't knock a man who ran into a burning building to pull out his constituents from a fire. Or I remember one time where there was a news article where Cory Booker was actually outside shoveling snow, helping people dig out from a snowstorm that we had out here. So, he seems to be a good guy. I just need to see where his policy is going to be at. What's he going to talk about before I can give it my all.
By the time 2020 gets here, I think there'll be about 30 Democrats running for president.
Yo, and be honest with you, I'm at a point now where, like, shit, I get with that Wheel of Fortune wheel, and I would spin it. Whoever it land on, I'd rather vote for that person than if they get me to get Trump out of office. Because right now,
I think he's still going to get reelected.
I don't know.
And then I will be utterly depressed.
I think he would have maybe until he did this shit with the shutdown, and I think he just so people keep saying his approval rating with Republicans is high and people love him, but statistics are showing that the Republican Party is getting smaller. A lot of people jump ship. So let's say, if you had, if 30 or 40% of your Republicans bounced and went to the Democrat side, and then you poll what's left, well, yeah, of course, it's going to say, his approval rating is high with Republicans, but they're not telling you the whole story. I think that he's put himself in a situation where I don't think he can. Well, I don't know, because again, with the
how did he get in there in the first place? I went to bed
the electoral college.
The electoral
college. That's why he got in there.
But with all the media attention, hopefully the media attention will get it right this time. But they set me up for an utter failure when I woke up and saw that this man was our president.
Let me tell y'all this story, because I can only tell you this story because I'm watching the election, right? I'm sitting there and at the time Hillary was kicking his ass. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to sleep. I mean, I'm not going to sit there. I got to go work in the morning. I'm going to go to sleep. So my wife was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to stay up. I'm going to watch.
Just a little bit longer.
I said, all right, cool. I'll go to sleep. I said, hey, babe, wake me up when let me know if you want it out or whatever. Just let me tell me what happened. Right. So I go to sleep. Okay. So whatever the reason, I just happened to wake up in the middle of the night, and I just see my wife in the bed with the lights out, looking at a cell phone.
Just the glow of the cell phone shining on my face.
Yeah, whimpering and shit. I'm like, yo, what happened? What's going on? Why are you crying? What's happening? She looks over at me, and she was like, he fucking won. And I'm like, what? He's like, he won. He won. I said, who? She was like, Trump. He won. And I think we both looked at. I put her in my bosom. I had to console her. She's sitting there crying. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was devastating.
Yeah, people. So we in trouble. So hopefully, in this pool of Democrats that's coming out right now, hopefully one of them will be able to compete with Trump. I don't know. Hillary's
don't know.
talking about jumping back in the race. I hope not.
I hope she does.
Mr.
Actually, if she jumped in, I would vote for her.
I can't
You know,
stand
see,
her
and that is
ass.
the problem
I
right there.
can't
Okay, look,
stand
I know
her
you
ass.
can't stand her. However, many people said, "Oh, they're both bad," and that's where I don't understand. You have a woman who's been in politics for so long, versus this man who has had like 6 or 7 bankruptcies. He's never had a successful business. His dad gave him $100 million and he squanders it away, lawsuit after lawsuit. Whereas this woman has stood by a cheating husband, okay, still stand by him, has been Secretary of State, okay. Was she a senator too?
Yes.
Yes, she was a senator. She was
Senator in New
state.
York.
Yes. So she has. So as a woman, this is what reminds me of that you can go into a job interview fully qualified on paper, and then you could lose to some nimwit male figure who has no job experience at all, but because he's a man, like that's really what it came down to. Because they are no way equal. So when people, it used to bug me so much when people like, well, they're both bad. I'm like, how can you say that?
Well, here's how you can say it. The Clintons, what they did to black people and what it did to the black community, that's something that I can't forgive and I can't vote for because of it. Because anybody who will sit there and call black people super predators, sit back and largely incarcerate black people the way that the Clintons did, and now you're gonna sit there and try to pander for black votes. I'm sorry, I can't vote for. I can't say I won't vote for it because unfortunately, I had to vote for her because it was between her or Trump, so I did for it. But if she was to go into the primary, I didn't vote for her. I wanted Bernie. That was who I was putting my money on.
But when it came, you're absolutely right. So your vote went for Bernie. Unfortunately, Bernie got screwed over by the DNC.
Yeah, he got cheated.
Yes, he did. And they really pushed for her to be the candidate. So now
and they
you
screwed us all.
Yeah.
And they screwed us all because
So,
of the fact
but
that
no,
she
that is
couldn't beat 'em.
but that is the thing. Okay, the super predator term that has been, and I understand, but still, even with that on paper, if you are an employer and you are hiring a president and you get 2 resumes that come across your desk and you see Donald Trump on one and Hillary Clinton on the other, as an employer, you look at it, you got 30 seconds to scan their resume. That's what they say the average scan of a resume is. Who you voting for?
Listen, again, I will never argue that Hillary Clinton is more qualified than Donald Trump. That's a no-brainer.
Well, a lot of people
However,
did.
but no, it was more about that. Nobody, they just didn't show up and voted for either one, and that's
Right,
what
because
screwed
they
us.
felt like you felt they're both of two evils. Is that
I mean,
the super
I
predator
voted
thing
for
came up all the time.
I voted for evil A instead of evil B. I mean, I didn't have a choice because I had to vote for Hillary because I didn't want an orange tangerine as my president. Unfortunately, I still got it.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't show up because they said, who? It's like picking poison either way.
So my question is, why go back into the race again? Like you couldn't
Because
beat him the
she
first time.
was
So
shorted.
why would you risk putting her? The Democrats don't need to do anything that they can't really back 100%. You know, Hillary is not good at all. They need to move away from there.
Well,
She
out of
tried.
all the candidates that are out there now, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, there's someone Hildebrand. I think she's also a senator. There's Julian Castro. There's so many people that are throwing their hat in the ring. Right now, if she were to throw her hat in the ring, right now, she would have my vote. because I don't know anything about the other ones yet. And as I'm doing my due diligence, like one by one, with like such as Kamala Harris, she's just as shaky as Hillary.
No, and I feel you, but I just said that I wouldn't vote for Kamala for the same reasons, and I wouldn't like. It's kind of like and this is where I feel like it's a little weird. Like you would vote for somebody who has done worse than what Kamala Harris has done.
All I know, wait, no.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris has a record for wrongful conviction
Okay.
cases. Many
Do you
of
know
them.
how many
There's
black
a dude right now named George Cage, an electrician with no criminal record, and he's not the only one. There's many other examples, but he was charged in 1999 for sexually abusing his stepdaughter, and she is known for being a liar, and there was no physical evidence. She reported it years and years later, and there was new evidence. Trying to appeal his case to show his innocence, which she refused to look at. That man is in jail to this day. He got a 70-year sentence for something that a lot of people feel that if the evidence was admitted, he would be released, but she refused. And that is only one. There's a couple of other ones where they have been overturned because she did not allow for new evidence, but since she's vacated the position, these other judges have been able to rule and have overturned the decision. But I'm just saying, there are people, it may not be important to you, but there are people that are in jail for wrongful convictions, and she could easily look at their case again, but refuse to.
But if we want to talk about scale,
Okay.
right? You want to talk? Now, don't get it wrong. I'm not saying that Kamala's hands is clean by no means. But if you want to talk about a scale, what the Clintons did was like dropping an atom bomb in the hood.
Yeah.
The ripple effects of what the Clintons did is still reverberating right now in the black community. It was detrimental. Locking people up, giving people lifetime sentences for weed and simple minor offenses that it's your third strike, but it's like it could be a traffic violation or something stupid.
Right.
And all of a sudden now you in jail for life. I mean, come on. And then to sit back and you're talking about a dog whistle. She called black people super predators.
Well, I will say, if Bernie entered the race right now and Hillary entered the race right now, Bernie would have my vote.
No, and I get it, but again, I just feel she shouldn't even put her hat in the ring. Just move on. We just look. She tried twice. It didn't work out. It's just let's just move on. I think I'm hoping that somebody out of this pool of Democrats can step up so that we don't have to have Hillary in the White House. Okay. I'm hoping that Kamala Harris, right now I'm going to have to say no. I'm hoping that maybe, which I think will be very hard, I'm hoping that she can change my mind because from what I saw of her lately, I mean, I want to believe in her. I want to, but I don't think that I can.
Yeah, she had a CNN town hall, which lets you know she is already the establishment's candidate because she's the only one that's been given a town hall so far. But anyway, they came out of the gate asking about her record as an attorney, and her answers weren't that. They weren't very convicting in regards to like, I believe you. It kind of was like a brush off her answers. And for example, she said, well, you can't win them all, and some people don't like prosecutors. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't strong enough for me. Hopefully you can practice your answer a little bit more when someone questions you about your record. But I'm sure we're going to have a lot more people over the year that are going to be entering this race. And so far, there's talks of Biden and Beto O'Rourke. Am I saying his name right? And then also, Hillary is a contender, and then Bernie.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing. Like I like Bernie, and Bernie's record is I mean, he's definitely down for the black. You know what
But
I mean?
how old is Bernie?
Bernie old as shit.
I know.
Bernie old as shit.
He
I don't
is.
know.
I don't know if
I
he
don't
can
know
do
an
it.
exact age, but he probably needs to be carbon dated. Like
Yeah.
he's
Unfortunately,
up there.
So is Biden though. Biden's up there too.
Yeah, Biden old as shit too. You know, it's just something about Biden just seems creepy. He seems like the creepy uncle. Like he just too touchy feely for me. Every time I see him, he's got his hands on some young lady. Like he just he just seems like he might be the R. Kelly
Really?
of politics.
R. Kelly. Oh my God.
Yeah, he
Don't
just
say
do.
that.
He just seems like I don't trust that guy sometimes. Like sometimes he says some
Oh,
things.
now you're gonna
that
have
is
me
good.
looking. I'm gonna have to look now. Every time you see him, he's got.
Yo,
his
listen to he's always touching some woman inappropriately. Like
you really?
yo,
I've
just look,
never seen this.
Just look. Every time I see him, he just seems creepy to me. He just seems like he just need to keep his hands in his pocket.
Okay. All right. But I mean, again, he's a moderate. So basically, progressive is being very popular right now. So Democrats know that they messed up with Bernie. They need to find a progressive light candidate. And so they're going to try to walk that line. They don't want to be too far left. You know, they want someone who can walk the middle of the road. So Kamala's trying to do it. She just approved of marijuana in December. She's trying.
Yeah. Again, people know what the keywords are, and they're just
they
saying
do.
the keywords. You know,
Yep.
healthcare keyword.
Healthcare
You know,
for all. Free healthcare.
Yeah, keyword.
Yeah.
You know, police reform keyword.
Yes.
You know, it's again. I need to be able to believe that you're actually going to
Prison
do what you
reform.
say you're going to do. Yeah,
Keyword.
yeah. Do what you say you're going to do. You know, I need to
That's
believe
what
that.
Donald, build the wall.
Yeah, we'll see how that go. And the bad thing is we probably are getting that damn wall, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know how it's gonna. It's
Is he
going to be
call a
interesting.
national emergency?
But then he asked. That's why Mitch McConnell met with him the other day and said, Congress is letting you know that we're not going to champion that. If he still got to get money from the Congress to approve his national emergency.
But
And then he said something, and people were like, "Yo, you're lying." He's like, "By the way, the wall's already being built right now as we speak. So instead of chanting 'build the wall,' we should chant 'finish the wall.'" He just.
So I think what he's talking about, if I'm not mistaken, there was some repair work on certain parts of the wall that was damaged.
Oh my God.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be
I don't
wrong,
know.
but they're not building nothing. They're just repairing what was already there, I think. So he's just a dumbass.
He must think that we're stupid as Americans, that we just believe anything he says. I mean, and usually you're the president and you should have some credibility and we should believe you, but I don't.
I mean, I'm getting what I expected. I mean, at the end of the day, he said grab him by the pussy. So so everything that he says out of his mouth at this point, it's not shocking.
It's not
expected.
shocking, no.
You know what I'm saying?
It's locker room talk.
Yeah, he's a douchebag, and I don't expect great things from him. I never did. So,
I wish I got $100 million. He got $100 million from his dad.
hell, I wish I got $100 from my.
Wow. He went bankrupt like so many times. It's crazy.
What he did in Jersey was just crazy. This dude, when he was building all these casinos and stuff like that in Jersey, built the casinos, and then he stiffed all the people who helped build the casinos. But I think what he filed bankruptcy or something, and then he bankruptcy what he owed those people, and a lot of construction workers and construction companies went under because, of course, you get loans, you front money so that you can get these contracts, and then they can't make good on the loans because Trump ain't pay nobody. But that's our president. Yay.
Well, that's all we have for you in regards to keeping you up on the news. And stay tuned for our next episode as we see what this week has to offer us.
All right, y'all. Catch y'all next week. Deuces.